Another thing that let's say makes other people afraid to convert it to organic is the issue of pests and diseases.
Yes.
Which I've seen you doing a good job of it. What would you recommend? Nowadays we're having a lot of biopesticides. Pesticides are produced by chemical companies. But as a person who is coming to now organic farming, would you recommend them to go straight to using those kind of biological pesticides, or just have that general knowledge of how they can control pesticides by themselves?
Okay. Two things. One, when you start out, that's why I say start small, because when you start on a small kitchen garden, you'll hardly have to spray anything.
Yeah.
Because you'll be able to deal with the pests by doing companion planting. And companion planting is basically, I'll give my classic example. Plant your cabbages with onions in between, and the onions will repel a pest called diamond bark moth, the one that creates holes. You've seen a cabbage.
Yeah.
You know, they have many holes.
Yeah.
And actually we realized all the time we have that success. Either plant leek onion, spring onion with your cabbages, you'll repel the pests, you don't have to spray anything. You know?
Yeah.
And then simple things also, in your planting program, make sure you planted chilies. Because chilies are very good. Just need to boil them, strain and spray.
Yeah. And
how the chilies work is just like an anti-appetite. Imagine this pest coming in the evening, when they want to munch on the cabbage, it is so chilly for them, they literally just starve to death. And when you do it that way, the natural way, you actually create a balance. Because what happens when you use the chemicals and the synthetic pesticide, what happens with time is that the pests form a resistance. I'll give an example of a whitefly. I was talking to a scientist who was just sharing with me the history of whiteflies. A long time ago, we had very little whiteflies. And what happened was, when they first got the first spray, the chemical spray for the whiteflies, it was too strong. Because they thought the stronger it is, the better it is to get rid of the whiteflies. It worked the other way around. The whiteflies got resistant. And whiteflies is one of the most difficult pests to get rid of, especially with tomatoes and people who are planting basil. Whiteflies is just a nightmare. And the more you spray whiteflies, the more it gets. Ask any farmer, it just gets worse and worse. But now when you use the other biological way, now people have been forced to use the traps, the sticky traps for the whiteflies. Because once the mature ones stick on it, of course they cannot get away anyway. So that's one of the ways people are using. People are even using things like soap and lots of water, because when you spray on them and the wings get wet, of course they can't fly, they fall down and they die. So people have been forced to go back to the natural ways of doing it. So my recommendation is read, try, do the companion planting, do crop rotation. Like how I got rid of my aphids was mainly through crop rotation, because we had sections on the farm where the beans always had lots of aphids. And what I decided, for a whole year, that whole section will only have onions. Different kinds of onions and chilies and different things. And now I'm ready to plant beans there again. After one whole year of not having, because now that whole year has made sure that the beans, the aphids, all the population, any who are hiding in the soil, any who have survived, died because they had nothing to munch on. So, crop rotation, companion planting, using the locally available pesticides, even Mexican marigold grows as a weed. You just need to crush it and spray it. It will get rid of mostly the aphids and the thrips. Something else you do is physical removal. I think sometimes we are addicted to spraying. You don't
part of our DNA.
Exactly.
See any pest?
Spray. And sometimes all you have to do is just take your hand and prune the part that has the pest. And then that part you go and burn it. That's another way. But that works well when you do it very early. You cannot do physical removal when you have pests everywhere. So, I think the overarching thing is you must know your farm, you must be keen, and you have to give it time. So that's what I would advise. But when all fails, especially when you're doing it on a large scale, then you can move to the biological control. You have the metarhiziums, and some of them work very well. Of course, we have well-known companies in Kenya that are doing the research, and they actually have very good products. So you have to do your research to know what company is it. Are they certified? you know, to show that they actually work?
Yeah.
And have they done trials? So farmers should not be afraid. I ask personally,
Yeah.
before I use your product,
Of course, yeah.
you know, I have to
Right.
ask, how was it made? Have you done trials? Show me the trial and show me how it worked.
Yeah.
And you find sometimes, like for example, we've been struggling with spider mites. Let me give a quick example. And you find the like the biological control for spider mite doesn't deal with the spider mite found in Deya in our area. It will work with spider mites found in other parts of Kenya.
Wow.
But you know, it had to take me to go look for a scientist, and they're available.
Yeah.
Even if you go to Calro, I normally knock on the door. I'm like, I want to talk to a scientist.
Yeah.
Tell me what is happening. Sometimes we're the ones who don't look for the information.
Exactly, yeah. True.
You know, we have, I don't want to advertise anybody, but there are many scientists out there. So if you go there and ask, I want to talk to a scientist. And that's what I did. When he came to look at my spider mite, he said, the biological control you're using will not work on this kind of spider mite. It will only work on a different kind of spider mite. What I find is that Kenyans are not out to search for knowledge. So there's a big gap between the knowledge. We have a lot of scientists even in the university and in different organizations, and the farmer is here. There is no bridge to link science and the farmer. So you know, some of those things is what I've just come to learn through time and just search for knowledge. So now what I've done with my spider mites, you know, we have our own local concoction that we used with ginger and chili and oil and a little drop of liquid soap, and it worked. But it works also when you do it very often. Many times you want to come and spray once a week for 3 weeks, and the problem should be gone. As in, you literally want to watch the pests withering and dying before your very eyes. It's difficult to do that.
I guess it's also one of the things people don't like about
organic
using pesticides.
Exactly.
It takes too long.
It takes long. You have to wait, and you have to do it very often. And now if you buy the biological, it's going to be very costly for you. So a big part of organic agriculture is preventive. So if you do your crop rotation, if you do your companion planting, if you find your pests early and do the physical removal, all those will reduce your cost as you go on. Because then you're going to reduce the incidence of pests. Something else that will happen eventually is you'll have a natural balance. Like now, as hot as it is, we hardly have any aphids. We hardly have anything. Any pests on the farm right now, as we speak. And sometimes when you get aphids, what I realize how they're working on our farm, they're not on every crop. They will colonize one. And I don't mind. I'm like, you eat that one broccoli, but leave me the others. So you'll find only one broccoli has a lot of aphids, and the others have been spared. So because now you see, now you give nature a chance to work naturally, and then now you what happens with time? Now we get ladybugs, you know, and the ladybugs eat the aphid. So like the ladybirds are well fed. Don't eat too many aphids. Aphids can eat one broccoli, and everybody is happy.
Broccoli.
Yes.
Nice.
Feeding the people poison. Even your organs for hear them I say.